Hey there, welcome back once again. It's time for the golden age of DC Comics 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. It has been surfing my coffee table ever since, and it's been a great source of comic book conversation, the kind we used to have back in the old comic book shops. And that's what I want to recreate here today with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. The golden age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The silver age between 1956 and 1970. The bronze age, I'm a bronze age baby, from 1970 until 1985. And the copper age begins in 1985. This is an Abrhams 2004 publication. It is curated and written by Chip Kidd, Les Daniels, and Geoff Spear. There is a link in the description to the Amazon page. So between used and new, you could find yourself a copy between $8 and $25. If you so like it, it makes a great gift, and it's going to look great on your coffee table as well, and you can play along at home. What's the goal here? Well, we're taking this book for what it was made for, 365 days. We're going to crack this book open. Come to today's date. We're going to look at some comic book art. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So let's get to it. It is June the 18th. And one of my all-time favorite characters, Freddie Freeman, Captain Marvel Jr. This is art by Mac Rayboy from Master Comics number 24 from March of 1942. Alrighty, and we're talking about art today. Also, this is about shadows, and and look what Freddie's saying. Captain Marvel Jr. is investigating something. All possible clues. Hey, what's this? And let's read the blurb and get to it. And how are you doing today? I just want to take a second and say thank you. I appreciate you, and I'm very blessed that you are tuning in and watching me and our show here today and being part of this conversation. Thank you so very much. AL, Brandon, MC, all of you. You just thank you. You keep the sails full of wind, and I appreciate you. Escapism is a very important thing in our lives. We need it. Activism is a very important thing in our lives too. We need that as well. But do we really need activism taking over all of our escapisms? From movies to comic books to sports to stand-up comedy. I mean, yes, the antidote for a severe world is having a sense of humor and being able to help cope and deal with it. I mean, honestly, it takes a complete asshole to always rub your nose in something, to always constantly be lecturing someone. That's not fun, and it defeats the purpose of these fun outlets. It's as if there's some kind of weird conspiracy to take away our fun because someone is so needy that they need to take your fun away. Everything has to be what they care about. Well, what about what we care about? The pre-existing comic book fans. I mean, we just need superhero stories, adventure, excitement, and I mean, it's possible. Activism is important, but you know what? It does not need to be everywhere at all times. We need an escape, and these problems will be there waiting for us when we get back from our fictional places. They will be, trust me. And so let's get to it. I'm going to read the blurb. Another of Mac Rayboy's dramatic lighting schemes highlights this scene in which Captain Marvel Jr. engages in a little illegal search and seizure while investigating the mystery of Mr. Macabre. Perhaps the artist put the hero's face in shadows to suggest moral ambiguity of his vigilante actions. More likely, he thought it made a pretty picture. So yeah, let's look at the art again. There is a file cabinet. There is the hero's face in shadows, and he's investigating, and he has a revelation, rather. He has a revelation, and also this is art. Remember, and so why is he in the shadows? Is it because he's doing something illegal, or is he about to be brought into the light? Is he about to see the light? And this is art is meant to be, it's a visual medium, and it's meant to be evocative. It's meant for you to interpret things. It's meant for you to give a second and third thought about it. That's what makes comics fun. It's a union of narrative storytelling along with sequential art. And there's a lot of moving pieces, and it's a wonderful blend. And that's what makes comic books such a unique and profound genre. And this is one of the reasons why I love comic books. I grew up with an appreciation for art. My mom had books and books and books. And I was his only child with a single mom. And so I spent lots of time alone around these books. If it wasn't Cezanne, it was Rubens. If it wasn't Rubens, it was the Dutch masters. It was Greek civilization and Roman civilization, the Assyrians, the Egyptians, and they all had their art, and the art expresses their culture and their values, and also it's a slice of their daily lives as well. And this comic art is modern popular art, pop art, and it's a great window into the past. It's also a great example of different styles of art, from the absurd to the abstract to the photorealistic, and it's every comic book artist that is worth being printed and getting paid for usually has classical training when it comes to things like physiology and art history. And comic books for me are a complete package because there's a lot to unpack here. And who is Captain Marvel Jr.? We're just going to get into this for a minute. We've talked about him before. He's one of the first kid sidekicks. The first kid sidekick was Batman's Robin, and then came the others. Bucky for Captain America over at Timely Comics. Then came Captain Marvel Jr. over at Fawcett Comics with Shazam and Captain Marvel. So Freddie Freeman was a crippled boy. He was injured by Captain Nazi, and he was dying. He was given a splinter of Captain Marvel's powers. So when Captain Marvel said, when you say my name, you will be transformed into a superhero. And so when Freddy says the words Captain Marvel, boom, it's his magic word. He transforms into Captain Marvel Jr. in his own version of the outfit, a red cape with gold trim and a blue outfit. But he doesn't age. He remains the same teenage boy. And he has perpetuated until the current age, and most recently at the New 52 tried to modernize all the Shazam family. We used to call it the Marvel family, which was Mary Marvel. Hello. Hi. Mary Marvel, Mary Bromfeld, Mary Batson, who is Billy Batson's sister. Billy Batson is the alter ego of Captain Marvel Shazam. There were also, in the New 52, that was 2011, where the entire DC universe was reset. There was a reboot of every character, and it was just a modern interpretation. So now, Freddie Freeman is still part of the Shazam family. He still has a blue outfit. He no longer has the red cape, but now you can't use Captain Marvel Jr. anymore. You can see previous videos where I describe the the legal controversy, especially with Marvel Comics copyrighting the name Captain Marvel in the late 60s for their character, Mar-Vell the Kree Warrior. And so he's no longer Captain Marvel Jr., and now he transforms into an adult with blonde hair, shoulder-length blonde hair, and he wants to be referred to as King Shazam because there's been a modern historical association between Freddie Freeman and his love of Elvis Presley. So King Shazam is meant to evoke the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. With the blonde hair, I don't see that by aging him up into an adult form with his magic word takes away from the value of having a kid sidekick, which is great because kids can really identify with the kid sidekick. That's your vehicle in this fictional world. That's a kid's vehicle for escapism. So a child is no longer going to identify with Captain Marvel Jr. And because, well, modern comic books aren't made for children. They really aren't. They're not. There's no more newsstand. There's no more spinner rack. It's about direct sales, and it's about selling them for these floppies. We call them floppies. That's a cute name for the individual, issues. And these magazines, the point of publication now is these are for every 6 of these floppies equals 1 trade paperback, and that is the goal of publication these days, is the trade paperback and not the monthly magazine. So, and these comic books are not aimed at children, and kids are not buying them. They're buying manga with whatever their allowance is. They really are. It's out there. RTFM. Read the manual. Look it up. And but yeah, that's all we got for today. Spending a little time with one of my favorite kid sidekicks, Captain Marvel Jr. And we've been talking about comic books, and we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe, turn on the notifications, ring that bell, ding! And I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We talk about comic books every day. I'm a professional chef. I share my cooking hacks with you. I'm an ordained minister, a spiritual guy, an amateur theologian. We talk about spirituality and gratitude here. And I also take cute videos of bunnies eating their breakfast when I'm walking to the subway station before the sun rises in the morning. It's so cute. Tune in for the daily cuteness. Thank you so very much. Have a great day. God bless. Namaste. And we will see you in the funny pages tomorrow. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.